As the NBA trade deadline slowly creeps closer, tension is beginning to rise across the league, and nowhere is that tension more interesting than in Boston. The Celtics have exceeded expectations in ways almost nobody outside of New England predicted. Even without Jason Tatum logging a single minute this season, Boston has managed to stay competitive, disciplined, and dangerously effective. That unexpected success has created a new kind of pressure. It is no longer about surviving the season. It is about capitalizing on a rare opportunity to truly contend. With that reality setting in, the conversation around potential roster upgrades has intensified, and one position continues to dominate the discussion more than any other: center. For weeks now, insiders and fans alike have operated under the assumption that Boston will explore some kind of move to bolster its front court, whether through a trade or the buyout market. The Celtics have been resourceful at the position, but resourcefulness and championship certainty are not the same thing. Among the names being floated, one stands out as both intriguing and divisive: Domantas Sabonis. The mere mention of his name instantly splits opinion. Some see him as the missing piece who could elevate Boston's offense to an entirely new tier. Others view him as a risky investment whose defensive shortcomings and massive contract could haunt the franchise. Yet when you strip away the emotional reactions and look at the situation with cold analysis, one thing becomes very clear. Sabonis represents a polarizing path, but also perhaps the most direct route for the Celtics to transform themselves into a legitimate title threat. To understand why this idea carries so much weight, you first have to understand where Boston currently stands. This Celtics team has built its identity on discipline, ball movement, spacing, and decision-making. They protect the basketball at an elite level, they stretch the floor with shooters at nearly every position, and they defend as a unit rather than relying on one dominant rim protector. It is a system that values intelligence and versatility over raw athletic dominance. That system has worked remarkably well, but it also has limitations. When the game slows down in the playoffs, when defenses tighten and half-court execution becomes everything, having a reliable interior offensive hub can be the difference between surviving a series and ending it. Right now, Boston does not truly have that. They have effort, they have spacing, they have depth. What they lack is a big man who can consistently punish defenses inside, while also facilitating offense at a high level. That is where Domantas Sabonis enters the picture. Sabonis is, without question, one of the most productive offensive big men in the NBA today. His ability to score in the post, operate as a dribble handoff hub, rebound at an elite rate, and create for teammates places him in a rare category. Few centers in the league can control an offense the way he does. When he touches the ball, defenses are forced to react, and that reaction creates opportunities everywhere else on the floor. For a Celtics team already loaded with shooters and smart cutters, that kind of gravity could be devastating. Imagine Sabonis stationed at the elbow, orchestrating handoffs and backdoor cuts while defenders hesitate to help because of Boston's perimeter threats. Imagine him drawing double teams in the post, kicking out to open shooters who already thrive on catch-and-shoot opportunities. Boston's offense is already efficient. With Sabonis, it could become overwhelming. But the hesitation around Sabonis is real, and it is not without merit. The biggest concern is defense. Sabonis has never been known as a rim protector, nor is he particularly switchable on the perimeter. In a league where defensive versatility is often treated as a prerequisite for playoff success, that limitation stands out. Opposing teams would certainly attempt to target him in pick-and-roll situations, forcing Boston to adjust its schemes accordingly. Then there is the contract. Sabonis is owed more than $90 million over the next 2 seasons. That is a significant financial commitment for any franchise, especially one that already has multiple high-salary players. Taking on that kind of deal is not just a basketball decision. It is an organizational one. It affects flexibility, future planning, and the ability to adapt if things do not go according to plan. This is why the idea of trading for Sabonis feels so uncomfortable to some fans. It challenges the Celtics' identity as a defensively responsible, financially disciplined organization. It asks the front office to take a calculated risk, to lean into offense and to trust the coaching staff to solve problems rather than avoid them. And yet when you look at what Boston has already accomplished this season, it becomes easier to justify that gamble. Joe Mazzulla and his staff have consistently found ways to extract value from players many teams would consider marginal. They have built defensive schemes that rely on collective effort rather than individual dominance. They have emphasized positioning, communication, and anticipation. If there is a coaching group equipped to minimize Sabonis's defensive weaknesses, it might very well be this one. Boston also has the personnel to support him. This roster is filled with capable perimeter defenders who can help contain dribble penetration before it reaches the paint. Strong wing defenders can take pressure off the big man, allowing Sabonis to focus on positioning rather than recovery. In many ways, Boston's roster is better suited to absorb a defensively limited center than most teams in the league. Offensively, the fit is even more compelling. Sabonis thrives in systems that value ball movement and player motion, and that description fits Boston perfectly. He does not need to dominate the ball to be effective, but when he does have it, he makes smart decisions. He passes willingly. He reads defenses quickly. He plays with a physicality that wears opponents down over the course of a game. Replacing a limited rotation big with Sabonis would not just be an incremental upgrade. It would fundamentally change how opponents are forced to defend Boston. It would introduce a new dimension that cannot be replicated through scheme alone. There is also the broader context of the Eastern Conference to consider. The Celtics find themselves in a position few anticipated. They are winning now, not in some distant future. Windows like this are rare, and they close faster than teams expect. Waiting for perfect conditions often results in missed opportunities. Adding a player of Sabonis's caliber would send a clear message. It would say that Boston believes in what it has built, that it recognizes the urgency of the moment, and that it is willing to accept discomfort in pursuit of something greater. Championships are rarely won by playing it safe. Of course, no trade exists in a vacuum. The price would matter. Boston cannot afford to gut its depth or compromise its future beyond repair. But if the cost is reasonable, if the move is calculated rather than reckless, the potential reward is enormous. Sabonis would immediately raise Boston's ceiling. He would give them a reliable offensive anchor in playoff situations. He would make them harder to game plan against. He would force opponents to choose between defending the perimeter and protecting the paint, and either choice would come with consequences. The Celtics have already proven they can outperform expectations. The question now is whether they are willing to push beyond them. As the trade deadline approaches, this decision looms larger with each passing day. Standing pat may feel comfortable, but comfort rarely leads to banners. A bold move, even one that divides opinion, could be exactly what separates a good season from a historic one. And if Boston does decide to take that leap, if they choose to embrace the risk and chase the upside, Domantas Sabonis may be the name that defines their season. If you enjoyed this deep breakdown and want more Celtics analysis as the trade deadline approaches, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Let me know in the comments what you think about a potential Sabonis trade. Would you take the risk or would you stay the course?